Hi, this is Jane from the Horse Life YouTube channel. I'm just about to start my very first saddle restoration. I bought a second-hand saddle this week, a dressage saddle that's got a few faded parts and a couple of minor scratches. I've never done this before. I've looked it up on the internet and I've bought all the products. So I'm going to give it a go. The dressage saddle didn't cost that much, even though it's a really good brand. So I'm hoping this will bring it back nice and smart, and hopefully I'll be able to use it in some dressage competitions. So here's the saddle. Okay, as you can see at the back here, it's a bit faded. And my lovely chook was just inspecting what I was doing and put these brand new scratches on it. Not impressed, but we'll see if they come out with the scrubbing. It's got this here, which is like a grain of leather, that if I keep pulling that, it's going to keep pulling through, because I've tried it. So I don't know whether that's going to scrub out. I've only ridden in it twice, and I've got new stirrup leathers, and they've already done that. But I hope there's nothing permanent. Here are my products. Don't ask me how to pronounce that. Fibings, I'm not sure. So these are the things that they recommended on the internet. I'm going to give it a scrub with some glycerin soap to start with. Okay, well, I've given it a bit of a scrub on this side. This is the second side that I haven't started yet. I've probably just wiped from the top. You can see there's a bit of water stain there where it's just come over from the other side. But you can see how it's still got a little bit of shine on it. Then after you give it a wash, all that shine goes. But now we're ready for the next step, which is the deglazing using acetone. This is the scary part. Acetone. Okay, first part done. I've done this area, as you can see. I've done underneath the flap there, just down to here and up here, and then I've done this here. I am just so keen to put the dye on it and see how it goes, so I'm just going to do maybe this and this as an experiment with the dye tonight before I run out of daylight. Gee, the dye goes a long way. It was only half a dip. Good afternoon. It's been 2 days since I started doing this saddle restoration. Just more of the same that you saw me doing in the video. Now it's currently got 2 coats of dye on it. It's really hard to tell it in this lighting. There is one of the best examples of how dark that's come. Well, it's black. I've done the front flaps here on both sides. I haven't done underneath. I'm going to scrub that and do that today. That's where we're up to. Probably going to put a third coat on there, and then leather conditioner. And I've just been using this paintbrush to get into the little nooks and crannies in here that you can't reach with that other brush. In the seams. We've now put 3 coats of dye on this saddle. I just have to go over it with a cloth like this one and try and get any excess dye off. I've done the flaps underneath here. I haven't done all like those entire flaps, but I've just done all the parts that are visible. Done around the back there and over the top. I think it looks really good already, but these marks here from the dye brush, just going to try and rub them down a little bit, and then I'm going to give it a really good coat in neat's foot oil. It's already taken those marks out mostly. Oh, look how much dye's come off. I've given it a wipe over with that rag. Lots of dye has come off. I don't know how much I'm supposed to keep rubbing, but I think you're better off rubbing and polishing after you're starting to put your top coats on. So right at the moment I'm just going to put some neat's foot oil, nice and thick, and give it a really, really good oil. Look how much that's soaked in already over here. Oil's going on nice and thick. I know this isn't the best lighting, but I've just oiled it all over, head to toe, under every flap, right underneath these flaps, girth straps, everything. Everything's got a good oil. I've used probably 1/4 of a bottle of neat's foot oil, and even with that oil, it's just looking so much better. I think I'm going to do some leather conditioning next with the oakwood leather conditioner and give that a rub in. And then my last 2 coats, or the last coat, is the one called tan coat. So they reckon tan coat next, and then if you want Resaline, I think, is the very last coat. Well, I've got an awful lot of dye coming off. Don't know if that's supposed to happen. Don't know if I was supposed to wipe more off before I did this, but I'm just going to keep going. I've just gone and done some more research to make sure I'm on the right track with dyeing the saddle. I have just put some oakwood leather conditioner on it about half an hour or so ago, and then I wiped it all off very thoroughly, and I'm getting lots of dye come off, which I think is fine. There was 3 coats of dye on there. The first coat soaked in overnight, and I think the last coat was like a bit too excess. So I probably could have done without it. The plan is to just keep wiping it with a rag and try and get as much excess dye off as possible, and then I think I'm going to put some tan coat on it. I've just finished buffing the leather conditioner off and going over and over and over. We started with that rag, and I finished with that rag. As you can see, it's a lighter shade of black, and I'm getting less and less off. I still think maybe I should sit it in the sun to soak in a little bit more and then give it a bit more buffing. I have been rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. Gone through two clean cloths, and I'm still getting dye off, but it is getting less and less. but I don't know how much longer I'm supposed to keep rubbing or trying to get dye off, so I'm going to give it a go with the tan coat. Got my piece of lamb's wool. Something about it leaving marks if you put it on too thick. Right, we've got our first coat of tan coat on it. It's actually bringing out the shine. You can see the marks where I've done the circular motions. Okay, the saddle's been sitting for 2 to 3 weeks now. I haven't had time to have a look at it. I've ummed and ahed about what kind of top coating to put on it. I did put the tan coat on. I've put 4 layers. But I didn't want to put the Resolene on there because apparently it seals it, like waterproof seals it, so you can't add oil to it after you apply Resolene. I've had some other people suggest beeswax and then to buff it on with a bit of friction, and that will help seal it, and hopefully the dye won't come out after that. Got no idea if it's going to work though. I finally made the decision I'm going to use Resolene. I've just spilt it everywhere. I tried to shake it without the lid on because I forgot I took the lid off. That is all I'm going to do with this saddle. Next step is to test it and see if any dye comes off on my pants. I think it looks pretty bloody good compared to what it did when I started. Let's just hope it works. If it doesn't, it's going to be a really, really good home saddle.